aggressive.
Who's going to do the echo? I guess we'll find out. Welcome to the CouncilCast. This is episode 221, being recorded on August 23rd, 2022. The Council is now in session, and as with every week, we will make arbitrary decisions about topics on science, technology, and random shit.
Random shit.
Echo, echo, echo. With little background and next to no expertise. All CouncilCast decisions are final and have no bearing on anything whatsoever. Wow, that was an abrupt ending to that music. You're just going to have to fix that one in post.
Yep. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the CouncilCast.
Started over. Oh boy.
Something that we're not going to be starting over though is floating leaves that make energy for you. Apparently, some researchers in the UK created a prototype of a paper-thin fuel cell that works exactly the same as a leaf does to generate power. But the unique thing here is it's not just electrical power. They aren't just taking like solar panels and throwing them out in the water. They are actually creating just a type of chemical that can be used as any type of fuel. So the idea is they can make this what they're calling synthesis gas, which is a combination of hydrogen and carbon monoxide molecules, and they can use it to, who knows, make replace gasoline or something like that. But it's all made from these little leaves that you can throw out anywhere. Maybe they can grow on trees. I'm not sure.
What? I'm very lost on this.
What?
It sounds like they got this premise from the movie Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Because you said
yes.
It can make it out of anything. It can float,
yes.
or it can sink, or it could be a liquid or a gas or a solid.
Yes, that is all true.
What is this?
So
Science.
It is a device that can float, but the unique thing about it is that it basically creates it goes through artificial photosynthesis. So it uses a chemical reaction to produce a liquid fuel using the sun.
Okay. So it's gas.
It's gas, yes. Just not made from oil, apparently.
What?
It's gas.
I don't trust this chart.
They don't really tell you what it's made from, but they say apparently it doesn't use coal or natural gas, so I'm not really sure what that means.
Well, you know how normal photosynthesis requires us to burn fossil fuels?
Yes.
Like, you know how trees normally go through photosynthesis by us, by like the fires happening in California right now? That's how normally photosynthesis works.
Turbocharged photosynthesis.
I don't know. I think this is actually pretty cool if I understand it. If I don't, I still think it's cool because I love things that are confusing. That's why I've watched Inception so many times.
There you go. You know, I like the idea that they can basically take something that uses the water that it floats on and the sun to make a fuel. I'm just uncertain how much they can really make. But I like the idea of like throwing like a big cell of this like out in the middle of the ocean, and it just makes a bunch of fuel for you. And then you come and pick it up.
Yeah, I love the idea of fuel being just floating on top of the water in the ocean.
Nothing ever goes wrong when that happens.
If we can grow fuel, well, the question here, there are always unknowns in this situation, right? Because like it could create a ton of fuel for us, but it could release, you know, the way the fuel burns could be more hazardous? Have they tested that sort of thing out? Have they used this in a car?
They don't really say that. From what I understand is that it still probably is going to release some sort of pollution, but at least to make it, you're not creating pollution to make the gas.
So not carbon neutral, but less
Less so than what
impactful
we're
than
currently doing.
Yeah.
I'm not carbon
Yeah.
neutral. I'm carbon positive.
I think the one thing though that bugs me a little bit here is that now that they've got a prototype, they probably should figure out how to make them grow from a seed, and then they could just plant them, and then it grows into a gas-producing tree.
I love this idea. Why put it just right out in a plastic bag on the water when you could just plant a tree that makes gas?
Makes
Hey,
sense.
do
to
they
me.
have any money plants?
They can figure that one out first. That would be great.
Basically, a tree that grows petroleum is a money tree.
There you go. I'm going to give it a thumbs up for growing trees that make gas.
This one smells like a winner to me.
Smells like a winner.
Smells like a winner. Well, you know what you need in order to smell is oxygen, which is what Martians explorers might be able to do in the future using plasma and lasers.
That sounds super safe. Also, really fun. Tell me more.
Yeah, so apparently some researchers have been able to produce oxygen using non-thermal plasmas, which are electrically charged gases whose electrons discharged can be channeled through breaking the bond between carbon and oxygen atoms. Basically, they're going to take carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide and split the molecules using plasma, and it will produce oxygen when you're on Mars. And it will fill up the entire planet.
They have a ray gun walking around going.
Yep.
I hope that's the sound.
Oh, they have to add a sound to it. Otherwise, they won't know if it's on or not because you can't see lasers.
Yes.
But is a single laser beam going? How much oxygen is it going to make? How long do they have to point the what are they pointing it at? Just the atmosphere?
I guess.
So is it gonna are they gonna
yes.
have like marshmallow heads standing out there DJing a rave, and the light show is just gonna be going like this, creating oxygen for everyone?
They said they haven't figured that out yet because they're still not exactly sure how to store the oxygen they make. So I think this is yes, you're probably correct.
So they need a massive light show of these lasers
inside of a giant dome.
And also, can these lasers burn you?
I'm gonna go with no.
God, I hope so.
They're non-thermal, so
they can't.
I'm gonna go with no.
Okay.
But
it's a non-thermal plasma.
I want to burn.
You want to burn on Mars?
Baby, burn. Disco Inferno. That song?
I thought it was We Didn't Start the Fire.
That's different.
Okay.
I got that wrong.
It sounds like a lot of scientists have come up with a lot of theories for our segment that don't make a lot of sense. I'm going to give this one a thumbs up too.
We're definitely in the reaching for it stage of the science this week. So these are things that I hope come back in episodes in the future. So thumbs down because I can't talk about it today.
Fair.
But what I can talk about, can't talk about it. What I can talk about today is that VESA, the group that is creating monitor standards for your standard computer desktops, want to replace monitor response time specs with a new spec called ClearMR. So you, as a
Oh,
consumer, know if you're going to get a better monitor for motion blur or not.
interesting.
So has anybody recently gone out trying to buy a new monitor?
Yeah.
Have you been looking at the specs and what you need or don't need? You've
Yes.
probably seen. Have you seen things out there that are like clear? Well, what the heck is it called? Monitor response time,
Yeah.
MRT.
Mm-hmm.
Or what about what's the other one? They mentioned it somewhere else in here. Basically, they talk about how clear, yeah, gray to gray or motion picture response time. There it is. So apparently those are kind of what the specs are out there today. And the problem is that a lot of manufacturers manipulate these tests because they don't really tell you anything other than how fast can they show an image on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is a lot of companies go into doing some special things to make that happen, but it usually comes at the detriment of something else.
Yeah.
And the reason they're trying to do this is because that by going faster, by giving your screen a fresher image sooner, it will help clear up the image and reduce motion blur. And VESA has taken the stance that the specs that are out there today are complete garbage because they're all time-based, and they are now proposing and coming out with a new specification called Clear MR.
Are
And so they
they gonna
basically,
have Linus Tech Tips help them figure out all this stuff?
I can only imagine they
Because
are.
they've been
Yes.
investigating this kind of shit for years.
Mm-hmm.
It certainly seems like it because the way that even to do the test sounds exactly like something that like a reviewer would do, like Linus Tech Tips would do.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually have the screen that's under test. The idea is that they have to record it with a camera, and they measure basically how fast it is moving across. An image moves across the screen or something like that. So, but they're basically coming out with a standard so you can have what they're calling clear MR or CMR levels of 3,000 up to 9,000, with the higher the number being, the better it is.
I like this a lot. My only problem with this is the name.
Clear
It
MR.
should be clear NA for everything below 9,000. And at 9,000, it should be clear AF.
It definitely should.
Fair enough.
I could back
I
that.
do. I do like that. So they definitely got the name wrong. But I do like the idea that this apparently it should hopefully clear up some of the just completely bogus and made up numbers that you see when you go and buy monitors today.
The last time I went
Make it
monitor
easier for
shopping,
people.
that was the biggest thing for me. I would go look at the specs. I would go, oh, cool, 120 hertz. That should be great. It's 4K resolution. That should work fine. I like the price. I like the color specs on this. The color space seems to be pretty decent. Then I would go watch a Linus Tech Tip video on the monitor, and they would say, wow, the motion blur is garbage. You're not going to get actual color resolution as listed by the manufacturer. You're going to be in this space. If you want to try and shift the color space to be more accurate, you're going to have to buy this other tool. If you want to make sure that X, Y, or Z, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, every single monitor was like that. I was like, so what monitor's good? How do I know it's good? And they're like, oh, if you want the best monitor for color grading and video and photography work, all you have to do is buy this $15,000 color grading monitor from Toys R Us or whoever was selling it at the time. So I was like, what? Well, I'm not doing that because I'm just not going to do
What's the next step down?
Yeah, exactly. So I ended up with the LG 5K monitor that Apple was selling before they came out with their Apple monitor, whatever that is. That was the most recent one. So I have that, but I still need to get monitors for some of our employees, and it's a very confusing time that we live in. But hopefully, this Clear AF program clears things up for everyone.
I think that makes
Thumbs
sense.
up.
Yeah, I like it. I like that they have some images here too that show what each of the levels mean. So hopefully that makes it a little bit easier for people to understand motion blur. And I give it a thumbs up.
Why do all those guys have clothespins on their noses?
What? Oh, in the pictures. I see what you're saying. Because they're all afraid.
I understand why they're screaming about it. Ouch. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
It hurts. It hurts, and you know what also hurts is the dream of interconnected cars talking to each other on the road and eliminating crashes.
I don't think you're appreciating
forever.
the fact that you were just talking about monitor refresh stuff, and then you said it hurts. Continue.
Well, it hurts in terms of the 5.9 gigahertz bandwidth being killed off. Apparently, the court rules that the FCC is not allowed to reassign that bandwidth, essentially killing V2X, which is Vehicle to Everything, which is a wireless system that was supposed to allow vehicles to communicate with other road infrastructures and each other, and basically kills that entire idea at this point in time.
Couldn't they just like turn the dial up to like 6 or even like 5.95?
Can't frequencies be like that? Surely there's some form of like best for the public, like imminent domain for frequency bands, where there can be like, this is going to be blah, like, and then just do it anyway. Like, it seems silly that like an entire industry can be, well, okay, well, we're just not going to do that thing that might be really, really useful.
They set it aside back in 1999, and now they're going back on their set aside.
Well, yeah, they did set it aside back in '99, and they specifically did try to set some of this aside for these future things that are coming up.
Because they're like, doesn't matter, Y2K, it's all gonna fall apart.
Yeah, they're just like, let's see if everything gets fucked, and then.
But it doesn't sound like it's not the FCC that's taking it back. The FCC set it aside, but apparently a court decided that the FCC apparently does not have broad authority to manage the nation's airwaves in the public interest.
So they did try to argue that.
That's what the court said, yes.
I mean, they tried to argue that even in matters of public, like, because it's a matter of public interest. Like
that's what it sounds like, yeah.
Okay.
Do you ever just get like really cynical when you hear that there are court cases like this, and you just go, man, if the V2X company or industry had just got better lawyers, they could have won?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I want them to win. I'm just saying it seems weird if it's just like, well, goddamn, like, oof, it sucks, but like, you know, we can't build hospitals. Like, there's a rule on the books that says we can't. So we can't. Like, that sucks. Now what? Just there's no hospitals then, I guess. Like, so now what? Like is the entire, like, if there was going to be some like amazing benefit out of this, like, technology generally existing, like,
well, I mean, I think that the idea was that this could have been, people are going to come up with other ways to do the same thing, I think.
Okay.
They had talked, so the FCC talked about, hey, we were reserving this for specific radio, car to car or car to infrastructure type of things. But it sounds like some people, like Qualcomm, for example, has debuted a new chip that uses cellular wavelengths to do this communication instead. So instead of talking directly to the cars like ahead of you or behind you, like they're just going through a cell network.
I mean, presumably the
instead.
other way, where you're talking directly to the ones that are close to you, the latency is better.
I would assume so. Yeah. So at some point in time, I'm sure somebody will figure something else out.
Do you think
and
they
it'll
thought about
get
using
picked back
Bluetooth
up.
Huh.
or Ethernet?
Can't
The adult world is plugged
Ethernet for
in.
sure. As you drive by another vehicle, you just toss a cable to them.
Hey, catch this and plug in so that we don't run into each other. Easy. Hey, well, in that case, if there are new ideas, I give it a thumbs up. If there aren't new ideas, then I give it a thumbs down. But if it was going to be a bad idea, then I give it a thumbs down anyway.
I'm not sure, from 99 to now, if nobody's done anything with it, it seems kind of weird that nothing has happened in the last 20 years.
Yep. You know what? Touche.
So, I'm going to give it a thumbs up and say, I encourage people who are trying to still do this to find out a better way of doing it and do it faster than 20 years before somebody steals your airspace.
I like it. That's a good point.
Well, something that you do need to be worried about is not necessarily your cellular or radio waves, but a Janet Jackson song crashing your laptop.
I'm intrigued.
So apparently, Janet Jackson's song, 1989, apparently has an uncanny ability to crash certain old laptops.
By hitting
Apparently
the resonance frequency of the hard drive?
Yes. That is exactly what happens.
Dope.
A perfect bug, it says.
So, yeah, apparently the song. I guess the song is from her album, Rhythm Nation. Could crash some old laptops, and it was found because the song had a frequency in it that matched some old hard drives, and so it would cause the hard drives to just totally crash if they heard the song.
There had to be other songs that were doing this.
Apparently not. Maybe if it is, we've never heard about it.
I don't know. That's pretty cool. Technology. I love technology.
I think this is pretty awesome. I mean, I'm impressed by the fact that not only could the song produce it, but the speakers were able to produce the frequency as well in a laptop.
Yeah.
I mean, those laptop speakers are pretty shitty.
Did they ever think that when they were putting those laptop speakers in, they're like, these speakers have the ability to produce this resonance that would cause the hard drive to fail? Yeah, but who's going to find that resonance? 1 in a million shot.
It'll never happen.
It'll
That's
never
probably what
happen.
they said.
It'll just happen
Yeah.
frequently. Well, you know what would have been even better if it had been Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal. Every day he does that ow in the middle of it and done.
Yeah. Well, so apparently the way to fix it is that the manufacturer for the laptops had to write special audio filtering software that detected when those frequencies were played and then filter them out before they played it through the speakers so that it didn't crash the hard drive.
So they ruined Janet Jackson's song?
Yes.
Unfathomable. Inconceivable.
Well,
I give it a thumbs down for them censoring her song.
Censoring her song. I give her a thumbs up for coming up with a song that can randomly crash laptops. That's pretty awesome.
Ahead of her time.
Ahead of her time. There you go. Somebody else who might be ahead of their time is a guy who has created a knife-throwing gun. If you ever thought that guns were dangerous, here's one for the books.
You made the mistake of bringing a knife to a gunfight. No, I brought a knife gun to a gunfight.
Oh my god.
So yeah, this guy apparently, you know, took a lot of effort because I can't imagine that this was easy. Um, but he basically was able to come up with a way for you to shoot knives at anything and from any angle, from any distance, and he could have them basically hit target. My favorite part is there's a comment lower where is anybody else concerned that he's testing this by throwing knives into a fence that apparently is separating his yard from his neighbor's yard? Like, whoops, sorry, neighbor. Don't mind the knives going through your backyard.
I don't know. It looks pretty accurate. Seems like if
Yeah, but how
he
many
shot
times
it
did
to the
he try
neighbor's
it
yard, it'd
before
have to have
that?
been intentional.
What if he accidentally dropped it and it shot over through a window?
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm giving this guy a thumbs up. I think that was freaking genius.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Just keep that thumb out of the way.
Except for the fact that his gun is gigantic. Like, I would never want to carry that around.
I mean,
But if I could mount that to my car, that would be pretty sweet.
What is this, death race?
Yeah, it's just rush hour in the morning.
Rush hour in the morning.
Oh, that's pretty
man.
good.
Cool. Well, you know what? Yeah, thumbs up to anyone who can invent stuff like that. Thumbs up to anyone who has time to invent stuff like that.
Well, with that, we're going to move on to our billionaire pitches for the week then.
I have one.
All right. Who are you pitching this one to?
I am pitching this to Gerard Worthemere, number 44 on the billionaire list right now. I would like him to create the first TV channel or streaming network that knows what you want to watch. And so you're not surfing through stuff. You just turn it on and it plays the perfect show for you at that moment. I think that he will do really well with this because it says he got his billions from, his source is from channel. So it must be a TV company of some kind.
Yes.
I fucking hate you. Because I sat here and I'm like, what is he talking about? Channel? That's not a... God damn it.
Oh man, all right. A TV channel or streaming service that knows just what you want to watch. You never have to change the channel. TV channel or a streaming service. You never have to change the channel. It just knows. All right.
Precisely.
I think that I would like to pitch that there's a fragrance that you can wear that just knows what fragrance you want it to be. You could call it the channel.
Yeah, I like it. You gonna pitch that to his brother Alan?
This is gonna require nanobots of some kind, surely, right?
Oh, for sure. For sure. No, I'm gonna pitch this not to
Nanobot
his brother.
fragrance emitters.
I'm pitching it to mistake number 33, Klaus Michael Kuhn. He sounds
Great
like
guy.
he can get it done.
Number 33?
I don't know. I think so. That's what it says here.
He showed up as 34 on my list.
Oh, he must have just dropped.
Uh-oh, somebody sucks.
Oh, you're right. 34. All right.
Somebody's not in the Trace Comics Club anymore.
He just lost his...
Wait, these are also Trace Comics Club members?
Sure.
Trace Comics.
Doesn't he go down from driving some fancy... What does he go? He's driving some kick-ass car, and then he's still driving some kick-ass car, but he calls it a piece of shit because he doesn't have 3 commas.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the shitty car is.
It's like a Ferrari.
It doesn't even have gull wing doors, I think is what pisses him off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change my name. I'm gonna call it the Channel Changer.
Ooh,
That's what he should call it. And it uses nanobots.
I like it. Smells delicious.
It smells. Maybe in the future you might be able to smell what the Rock is cooking.
You actually will be able to smell what the Rock is cooking.
Yeah. With the same device, you'll be able to see John Cena too.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, Matt, you got a pitch for us this week?
Nope.
All right. Well, then I think with that, we're going to wrap up the council meeting for tonight. I now declare this council meeting adjourned. Thank you for listening. We record this podcast live Tuesday nights on YouTube. And if you liked what you saw and want to check out all past episodes, you can go to councilcast.org or search for them on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. If you have a topic you would like the council's decision on, you can email us at idon'tcare@councilcast.org or connect with us on Twitter @RealCouncilCast or check us out on Reddit @/CouncilCast. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Mm.